Okay, I'd like to call the Buhl City Council meeting to order on November 16th, 2021. Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Matthew.
Here.
Councilor Marcus.
Here.
Councilor Carter.
Here.
Councilor Lehman. Here. Mayor Clarich.
Here. We're going to make a little switch to the agenda. I'm going to put city banners next. It'll be our next topic of discussion. I guess I would consider it 8A1 if we have to have a technical, but we're going to run with it right now. And Ryan, I suppose I need approval to do that?
Yes.
Attorney Carney?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve the change of the agenda before adopting the agenda?
Motion.
We have a motion. Support by Stewart. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, 8A1 city banners. Ryan, just want to give us a little preview and then introduce our guests.
Sure. I've been assisting a group of residents who have developed kind of the banners that you see up there and that's in front of you. We've had some discussions in MEDA too about essentially covering the cost of these, which are very reasonable, about $150 per banner. I think they looked really good. I think they did a great job designing them, and thank you. And I don't know if Carol Pastore and Carol Savar were two that kind of spearheaded the project, so they deserve some thanks and appreciation from the city for putting the legwork into it. And I think it'll make the city dress it up a little bit out on the Memorial Gardens and some for downtown and things like that. So they're two-sided. You walked around them. So do you have anything to?
Well, the only question you know,
You're fine.
I'm looking at two down by Billy's Bar, but there is 3 light poles. Do you want that third one that's on the far end?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, that's
Okay,
It's consistent
it's a
then.
loop.
okay. I didn't go on the first block there, but there is 2. The one in front of Greg Schaefer's,
Yeah,
that tree is huge. It would have to be trimmed somewhat,
yeah.
if that's okay. And then there's a corner one by the church there. The other place would be, there's 3 on Pennsylvania at, on that side of the street is what I would look at, because we're looking to go and ask for donations towards this from the different businesses, and the waterworks is in that area. If I donate, I would like a banner in front of my place or close to it, That's the only addition it would be with those 2 on Schaefer and the church, that one on the end and the 3 on Pennsylvania. I would say it'd be about 900 more.
Well, eventually that bill is going to go to BEDA, the
Right.
Buhl Economic Development.
Right.
And we discussed that at BEDA before, and I don't think there were any issues with that. I mean, people liked what they had seen. It's just a matter of final placement, final cost. But tonight, you're asking for permission prior to that, so that gives some direction to BEDA that
Right.
where the city council's
And
coming
these are
from.
the extra ones that, in writing, that we thought, well, it would look nice there too if coming in from that end
Okay.
on Pennsylvania. But not both sides. You don't need both sides, I don't think.
But when this becomes for a vote before BEDA, then we'll get final input from you as to where they should go.
Okay.
That would work with me. I guess before we take any vote or anything,
So here-
questions?
Well, your point was if somebody wants to donate and buy a flag outside of
Well,
BEDA.
whatever amount, I mean, if you want to give $10 or $100.
Yeah.
We'll take whatever donation and put it in the pot
Yeah.
towards the banners.
So,
What if a family wanted to contribute the cost of a banner? Could they put it where they want? I mean, I'm just throwing that out.
The only thing we wouldn't have this time, like the other banners, John, you would know, we had donated by, and then whatever
Okay.
company donated it. This one won't have that.
Okay,
It would just be,
it's there.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was just trying to find out.
Anybody can do it.
Okay,
You know.
not a problem. Is there a motion to approve the banners for city beautification?
I'll make that.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
Support.
Motion, second by Gene. Further comment or questions? Anything you'd like to add? It's fairly clear and it's understandable to us and looks nice, so,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I just want to thank the ladies for all
Oh,
their hard
without a
work,
doubt,
you
yeah.
know, to
Yes,
put
thank
this
you.
together. And thank you for all your hard work.
Any other comments from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Thank you and congratulations on the successful project.
Well,
Now we gotta get it up.
Yeah. Well, they can go for 3 years if you have them year-round. At least 3 years.
Okay.
But we would like them seasonal.
I think that's something Beta, if that's your recommendation, Beta, I think we'll
Yeah.
when we make the approval and stuff
Just
like
so
that.
you know, for,
I think that we want it to last as long as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. And once again, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Diana, we're gonna move on to number 3, the 2022 budget. Sorry for the little bit of a delay, but you're up.
All right. The first department is the cemetery. And that 2022 budget for cemetery is $2,914. A bit less than this year's budget, just by looking back at how much time the guys have spent there for wages and salaries and things like that. So that's pretty much where the decrease comes from the 2021 budget. Next up is community development, and that budget is at $1,740. That is, a decrease from this year, mainly because the consultant fees have been removed from that, and that is going to Beta. So in our community development, it's the Mesabi Trail expenses, some advertising, flags, things like that.
Diana,
Yeah.
what is the Mesabi Trail expenses?
That's the porta potty we put kind of by the boat landing where the trail is, and then we have to pay for the mowing. They mow it during the summer and we get a bill. It's like $350 for the mowing of our section through our town, next to the trail. Next is the unallocated expenditures, and this is basically the retiree insurance expense, our general liability insurance, deductibles if we have any insurance claims, some life insurance, but that's at $36,772, which is a decrease from 2021 budget, basically because we have less retirees. Retirement expense, so. Next is the retirement pension unallocated of $4,000, and that's per the union contract, where we have to, the general fund has to contribute $4,000 towards post-retirement benefits. Next is the library. And that's at $56,636. Every year, we're required to give X amount towards the library. It comes down from the Department of Education, and so we have to give $71,977 to support the library. So between the library and the library building, it's $71,000, but you can see they have the wages and the salaries, and then they had allocated for the programs and books and et cetera. So if you have any questions on that. Next is the library building, and that's at $15,341. And that's mainly just the operations, the utilities and phone and things like that. Insurances. next is Fund 309 Whiteside Woodbridge General Obligation Bond. Starting next year, we will be paying interest on that, and that's at $14,568. And then, so next year it's just interest, and 2023 is then when we'll have to start making principal payments. The capital for City Hall, we are gonna allocate $10,000 towards the City Hall capital to put aside for maintenance and repair work here. Next is the street department, and every year we try to put away some funds for future capital expenses for equipment. And so again, this coming year, we'll be putting away $20,000 into that fund. And that's what we use to, like when we purchased the grader, the down payment of $75,000 that was taken out of the capital fund.
If they don't spend their budget, we roll over money into that fund last year?
Yes, if council approves that, yes.
Yeah. So it's beyond this?
It can be.
Yeah.
So if the street department doesn't spend, if they are under budget, whatever balance remaining, the council can say, take the remaining budget balance and put it into
Capital.
capital. Next is the capital unallocated expenditures, and that's at $45,211. Basically, that's our mining effects monies that we get. It shows as a revenue and an expense. And usually that's used on citywide projects, infrastructure street projects. And that is it for tonight. Any questions?
Nice and short.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
So back to the city hall.
Yes. Capital?
Yeah. So for 2022, we're budgeting 10,000.
Yes.
And for 21, there was 20,000.
Correct.
Did that get used on city hall? Does anybody know that?
No, it's for,
Go ahead.
no, we have not used the 20,000 for capital because we have not done any capital work
Okay.
just on the building.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because.
City Hall.
Yeah, I was just curious because when you walk up the front entryway to the building, it's in pretty bad disrepair, and I was just curious where.
Yeah, we've tried to get people to come in, take a look at it, address it. I mean, one of the, I hate to say handcuffs for the city is that this building is on the historic register site. So any grant dollars we secure come with the stipulation that essentially this building has to be restored to how it was, which is, don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. But doing that is extremely astronomically expensive to do that. So, it's a time, we're doing what we can to try to save a little bit to hopefully come up with a big chunk to redo it,
Well, I mean, does that work as a savings account? Like, I know we can roll monies from one year into another. I mean, is that something that can be done to try and help with that?
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
Yep.
It's like a capital fund.
Okay,
It just keeps building every year.
gotcha.
Our lobbyists are working on things too, but that historic
Yeah, that's tough.
is killing us. I mean, unless we let that go.
Yeah, for example, like the library's on that historic register too. I mean, they had that, their front steps were done, 10 years ago or something like that. I mean, but that's something that we couldn't get any grant dollars for. So, I mean, that came out of their capital fund when they did that. And, with contractors, especially these days, doing these kind of intricate projects, they're tough to come by.
Yeah.
I think we have to look farther on how we get around the historical society pressure or whatever they call it. I mean, basically, if they're saying they ain't gonna give us any funds, then so be it. Because they'll give you a few bucks, but they won't give you much. So maybe it's just better to, Hibbing and Virginia, their entrances are changed. They got the metal doors, they got the glass. Those didn't come with that building. And gotta believe that those are historical buildings. I'm just saying, look into options without their help and see what we can do and save a lot of money and fix up our front entrance. You know, because we've been here before, this is not a new subject. We've talked about this for about 10, 15 years. You know, and they're not getting nothing done. And it's cracking up a lot more.
Yep, and little pieces coming down, somebody's gonna get hurt walking in the
So I
building.
think maybe get hold of, well, whoever's need to be get hold of, and, you know, if we do what we want to do and fix it up and still make it presentable, is, you know, what are they gonna do to us? You know, this historical society. I can't believe
There's
that.
lots they can do. We have to be careful here.
Well, let's
We
find
have to
out.
follow the law.
Well, let's find out. That's all I'm saying. So,
We have to submit a plan first, so we need to spend some money on getting drawings. And that'd eat that money up that we have in there, right, and just getting that done, so. That's why it's a double whammy, double standard.
that's it.
Okay. Anybody else with any questions for Diana? Reports from department heads.
I just got a few, just quick things. Power outage is tomorrow. There was a change to it where now the whole town will be affected, or we think it'll be affected just because the city had a meter go bad, and rather than trying to schedule a completely different outage that would affect the whole town again, we're gonna do it at the same time. We did put out mailers to everybody in their PO boxes. It's on the website. It was posted around town, so still only expected to last 2 to 3 hours, but we believe it'll impact the entire town. So we did our best to notify it. And then the last thing, on November 30th at 9:30 in the morning, the county board meeting will be at the senior center. So Commissioner Jugovich, who is our representative, is the chair, so
What date?
November 30th. All are welcome.
Also, I'm watching the COVID spread, things like that. I think starting next council meeting, we're probably we're gonna keep distance in between here and probably put the table down there with 2 people down there. And I don't know, we'll check with Commissioner Jugovich if there's any special rules about what the county has for the meeting, since we're hosting it, if they have a mask mandate, or if there's got to be 6-foot seating, I don't know, but we'll check with him first, and we'll follow whatever guidance we get from them on that. And then, Ryan, anything that you get from the state that might be added to what's going on, it's hard to say what they're saying. It's still an issue within the state, so, and especially up in St. Louis County.
What time was that meeting at? 9:30 a.m.?
It starts at 9:30.
And there's nothing with Buhl on the agenda. I mean, it's so.
Correct, yeah, it's
It's not
just,
that they're here, it's just that
No, yeah, it's
they
just
move
the-
around the county. so.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was canceled from, 2 years ago already?
No, I think it was canceled last year. I think that's right about when the
COVID was hitting or something.
lockdown went into place and stuff. And
Okay.
there was some disagreements on the county board of what they should do, so they rescheduled it for this year.
Is that agenda available to view? Do you know?
Yeah, on the county, it usually is on the county website. I can post
Well,
it.
I can
Yeah.
search for it. I was just
Yeah,
curious.
if you go to St. Louis County, .gov,
Perfect.
you can find it there.
It's similar posting to the open meeting law, so 3 days before it's usually.
Gotcha.
I guess if you're going to attend, why don't you let Ryan know, and we'll have a spot set up for us off to the side.
Yeah, I don't know if I can make it. I'd be
But
interested
if
just
you
in
can,
hearing them all.
just let Ryan know, and we can set up for a few chairs there.
Yeah,
Okay.
if any on the council are going, just please let me know, because if we do have more than
Yeah.
3, I'll post for a special meeting.
Or 2, right?
Yeah, more than 2, so 3, just so we're in accordance with the open meeting law, even though nothing city business would be discussed, but it's a good opportunity for the city residents to,
Well, you were looking for a special meeting. I was thinking we could maybe have it right before that.
that would be an option too.
I was gonna talk about that later here too, so. Okay, any other things, Ryan? Department heads? Okay, then we're good. We're gonna move on to 5 councilor additions to the agenda. It's just we already approved 8A1, the city banners, so we won't have to take a vote on that. Citizens forum, I don't know if anybody signed up. Nope, okay. Consent agenda, A, minutes. Regular city council meeting, November 2nd, 2021. Claims, payroll number 23, $11,942.64. Claims, accounts payable, $162,317.81 for a total of $174,260.45. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes and the claims?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comment, discussion, or questions about the bills? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. We'll now move into the business portion of the agenda. Just get caught up on some of this paperwork here. What goes with this? 8A, the construction in progress update. John, once again, the hot seat or the hot podium?
Good. The contractor, they got the blacktop in for the season. They got at least all the base course down in the project, so that was completed. They didn't get the wear on as planned until next spring, so we'll work on that. They got as much concrete in as they could. They are working on bringing class 5 into some of the catwalks or some of the driveways that they did not get concrete in. I think one of the issues was ended up being more of a shortage of available concrete to be put down from the suppliers. And they were out there, Casper's been out there this week, still working on some of the areas, and they'll continue on through the next couple of days to get that and get general cleanup, put signs up, just general cleanup of the overall site before you wrap everything up in the springtime. A couple more things, but I'll stop there, see if there's any concerns or comments on the work right now.
I noticed that when I went down Roberts the last couple of days now, I can see they're working on some of the driveways and things. Some of them are still a little rough, they gotta be tamped down a little bit or something, but it should be good for winter, so.
Okay.
Put this little alley on your list again. This lady that lives on the other side of the fire hall, we brought it up at the construction meeting, but she's bottoming out when she goes in the garage. This one right here.
The resident there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the alley's got to be
Right on the other side of the fire hall there?
Yeah, right on the other side there.
Okay.
Is
Just
there only one garage on that with access, or is there two, John?
there's one, but the other one isn't used. That's more lower by the T. The one that's right on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
She turns into her garage and she's bottoming out.
Okay.
It's just that it's got to be brought up a little bit.
The other items I had were, on Burnett, they got the water line in on the new addition. They did that work. We dug the main water line in and we did some of the grading for the development. But, because of the lateness of the year, we did not want to go into the street, so, we left the water line short on both ends, both on Franklin and Monroe there. So, gonna do some cleanup work there yet this fall, but that's got a good start. Half the utilities in. And the last item I had is the change order that we've been working on for, seems like a few months here on alley east of Roberts. That's the one that had the steam line that needed to be removed and that work done. We finally got it approved by USDA, and I'll get this to Ryan. You can put this on the agenda for the council meeting next time. I just want to make you aware that it was approved. Total net increase was $43,894.94, so it's actually a little bit less than we originally thought, but that basically is removing 110 feet of the steam line. And the way it's gonna be removed, they've gotta cut it off and have the asbestos guy bag up the ends, and they actually take it in chunks and have to haul it to Duluth and properly dispose of in a Duluth, somewhere in Duluth that takes that type of material, so. And then what we're gonna be doing is lining the sewer main instead of open cutting it, because we're gonna leave some of the old steam line in place. The 110 feet we have to remove is on the south side, where there's a garage, couple of garages right next to each other. There's just too much to remove that and do the water line work, so. But back and forth with USDA, and I think that's, and I'll get it to Ryan so you have it formally on your agenda at your next council meeting. I don't know if they're gonna do the work until springtime. You know, they've got equipment, it's not gonna take them that long to do it. They get a break in the weather, some nice days they might go in there and, because that's an alley that just gets restored with gravel. Wasn't paved before, so but if it waits till the springtime, that's fine too, to get that last piece done, so that's.
Ryan, we had a concern with a resident in there, in the alley there. Now that would be the 500 block of Memorial back in there, that it was really rough in that alley. He was wondering why that didn't get done and everything. And the key thing is we couldn't work on that because of the USDA wouldn't allow us to. And we just got the approval now. And we've been working on it for how many months? Couple anyway.
A couple,
yeah. So it's not that we didn't do it. We couldn't do it. They wouldn't allow us to. So for the public to know that. And
Yeah, I mean, there was probably 100 some emails going back and forth between Casper, between the engineer, between the city, between USDA, and I mean, you know, unfortunately, when you're dealing with federal funds, you have to do things the way they say you have to do it, so there's no, you know, it's, you know, we're dealing with unfamiliar engineers with the area and some of the things that are in the ground that are kind of, you know, unique to northern Minnesota, so to
archaic also.
to northern, I mean, so we were working on that constantly. It's just, you know, and I understand the residents' concerns, and they are, you know, they were put in a bad position. It's, you know, unfortunately, it was just something that happened that, you know, without more pull at the federal level, there's nothing we could do to force that through or get any type of variance or however you.
And Ryan, immediately, I let Ryan aware of this, became aware of that, and he talked to you right away, John. You went right to Casper right away, went all the way up the chain on this, so once again, the federal government held us up, so.
Yeah. And what we wanted to make sure, because we're dealing with, you know, a material being asbestos, you gotta properly handle, so just the safety of the construction workers and the general public was, you know, priority in making, you know, help make the decision the best way to handle it, so.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns for John?
I have a couple. So the signs are getting put back up? All the road signs that are laying in the snowbanks, those will get put up?
They were working on them this
Okay.
week, I don't know, they're planning on, yes.
Okay, yeah, that was my biggest question. I have one other one. I know the county was in doing core testing on the county roads here. Do we do that for our streets, for a project like this?
Not post-construction, we typically don't.
Okay.
I don't know if they had any issues or.
I'm not sure what the county's got. I know they were in town doing core testing though, so it just made me wonder if we did something like that.
Are they doing the core testing just on the blacktop only? Yeah, we don't do any of that. We try and save that cost.
Were they core testing on Pennsylvania or were they on Forest? Because
I think they were on both of them. I'm not sure.
And they may be doing this, Councilor Carter and the rest of the council. From what I'm hearing, they're planning on repaving Mill and Overlay Forest next year is on their schedule. They
Okay.
may be doing some ADA compliance upgrades, accessibility upgrades, and, you know, I've already talked to their engineer too, and I'm sure we'll be talking to Commissioner Jugovich that, you know, getting that sidewalk over by Shortstop is still on the list of the city's things to
Yeah.
do, so.
Maybe that's what they were doing.
So that could be Commissioner Jugovich kind of pushing this along, pushing that up, so they do that portion plus, you know, some improvements for, you know, ease of access for residents.
That sidewalk was put, up by the Shortstop was put on a 5-year plan for the county. Commissioner Jugovich got that done, and he's trying to move it up on that, so that could be very well what's going on right now. Okay, if that's it for that, that doesn't require any action. Next, pay application number 11, we're on 8B. Is there a motion to pay application number 11, the amount of $845,560.86? If we get a motion, then we can discuss if anybody has questions or concerns.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by Gene. Okay, council, any comments, questions? John, anything you've got to tell us? It's pretty standard, it's in the contract, so.
I have a quick question on it. Where are we at for, the percentage of total paid to Casper on this project? Just for my reference, I was just curious where we're at, especially after this payment.
I'd have to double check. I mean, we're still within budget and where we had our contingency built in. I'd say we're probably about 85 to 90%.
That's what I would
Okay.
say too, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we have our running spreadsheets that we update after each one, so I can include that in the packet for the next.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious where it was at.
And I think the total value of the work completed is, we're still holding a 5% retainage on the project too, so that's just a separate line item. So all the work they have completed, city's holding 5% back in cash from them, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and then coming in the spring, the council will, the engineer will present the council with a punch list items and things like that, and make sure everything's up to our standards before that 5% would be released.
Okay.
Further comment or question?
This last page kind of tells you where we're at. $7 million. Work done is about 6.3, and there's about 600,000 left plus add-ons.
Further comment or questions? All those in favor of the motion to pay invoice number, where were we at here? Pay application number 11, the amount of $845,560.86. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. We'll now move on to 8C. JPJ invoice number 18. Before we discuss, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
All support. Comments or questions? We've got John here if you have any questions.
I'll ask the same question on this one. Where are we at with, with the engineer on payment for this project?
I mean, that's pretty much a set cost. JPJ, you know, they have an engineer on site that's been billing for the most part. You can see through the invoice. I mean, we're.
So that's just billed at time and material as the project goes on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this was all built into our total cost.
Okay.
There might be a little variation based on if they stayed late one night. but,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a very insignificant dollar-wise.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll provide a better breakdown and overview of.
One of the things, if I could, Ryan, one of the extras we had on the project was the asbestos. And all we've been paying the asbestos, BTEC, the subcontractor to come in here. And we had a budget and they overran that. I don't remember the amount, but that was one change order that, we brought up to USDA too. But, just because we ran into more asbestos, we had to have them as a testing, and they're the ones who came out there and removed the asbestos from the pipe before gas work. And that was really the only overrun we had on the engineering side, was the testing of the asbestos and maintenance of that.
Further comment or question? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Resolution number 21-55. Oh no, wait, special meeting, fire hall. Brian, do you want to just lead us into that a little bit?
Yep, and I had discussions with Chief McDonald, Assistant Chief Erickson on this. As you know, you saw how the bids came in for the addition at the last meeting. The city does have until December 6th to accept or reject those. As I indicated, I do expect the city to reject those because, I mean, they're high. And I did mention that we had Morton come in to give us some budgetary numbers, which I expect fairly soon. I'm hesitant to reject the bids now before I see those budgetary numbers, what they're coming with. So I'm just kind of gauging the council's interest. I could do this something, I can coordinate with the mayor if we should have a special meeting. We're gonna have to have one to reject those bids or accept them before that. Just kind of seeing what your openness is for that week of November 29th through the 3rd, if we want to schedule something now, kind of play it by ear, just seeing what your preference is. But I do think the council as a whole should meet with Chief McDonald, Assistant Chief Erickson, so we're on the same page going into 2022 and making sure we get this completed.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
an evening meeting probably is the best for those of you that are working, and I was thinking if we could piggyback with that county board meeting, but that the two of you are working, but we should try to maybe set a tentative, not formally approve a date, but come up with one, then see if Morton comes up with those numbers for us. But we have to do something by December 6th, I believe.
Yeah, and our next council meeting's on the 7th, of course, hence.
So that you're kind of just hanging out, waiting to hear from Morton?
Yeah, I want to have here's what we have right now on the table, and I do think the fire chief should be part of some type of discussions with this. So, I'd rather hold off on, have a quick special meeting than,
Or we can just wait and Ryan can contact us and come up with a couple options for dates of the 6 o'clock meeting on one of the evening nights that week.
So we can take that as just informational at that point.
Okay, then that'll be informational.
The mayor has, I'll coordinate with the rest of the council and the fire department there.
Yeah, we want them there. That's crucial that we get their input, so. Okay, so that was gonna be discussion only. 8F, Resolution 21-56, Senior Center donation.
55.
Or 55, excuse me, yes. And that was from Great Scott Township. Is there there it is, okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2155, a $250 donation from Great Scott Township for the Senior Center?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2155.
Okay, motion by Gene. Is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comment or question? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Matthew.
Yes.
Councilor Marcus.
Yes.
Councilor Carter.
Yes.
Councilor Lehman.
Yes.
Mayor Claridge.
Yes. Resolution passes. Okay, next item on the agenda is 8F, and that is attached to Resolution 21-56. Once again, Senior Center donation. The resolution accepts a $1,000 donation from the City of Kindy for the Senior Center. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 21-56?
I'll motion.
Motion by Brandon. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Stewart. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Resolution passes. Another resolution. Resolution 21-57. Resolution to reappoint John Claridge to the Central Iron Range Sanitary Sewer District. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2157?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Jean. Further comment or discussion?
Can you give us a little background on that?
As far as what?
What goes on with that?
So, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like, I
Okay.
can explain that. So the Central Iron Range Sanitary Sewer District Buhl is a member along with City of Chisholm, City of Kinney, Township of Great Scott. So there is an appointed board by the governing bodies to basically manage the operations of the district.
Okay.
Past practice, the mayors of both Buhl and Chisholm have always sat on that board. So actually, the boardroom over there is named for a former Buhl mayor, Craig Paulford, over there. So it's a 7-member board, 3 representatives from Chisholm, 2 from Buhl, currently Mayor Claridge. I was appointed to that board mainly because I deal with this stuff every day and have oversight on this. A representative from Kinney, a representative from Great Scott Township, and another appointed by the commissioner of the IRRB with their involvement. So
Who's the officers of that?
currently, Scott Allison is the board chair, Steve Zalick is the vice chair. I believe Milan Lazaich is the treasurer, and Norm Miranda is the executive director / treasurer over there. I sit on the executive council, which is kind of 1 member from each entity to essentially have working sessions, review budgets, payroll, things like that. So, we're just in kind of discussions over budgets for 2022. The districts had, they've been very highly regarded as kind of the model for how these standards and the disposal of wastewater with all, whether it's mercury standards and all the environmental regulations and components that goes into it. So it's going well. Buhl's representatives are always advocating for what's going to be best for our ratepayers and things like that. Residents feel the impact because they've helped fund that. We're still paying the debt service for it. So, but it's a trade-off from trying to build. At the time, the city might have had to build a $8 million plant by themselves, where obviously it made sense to partner with those around us to kind of streamline operations. So that's kind of a brief history of how that came about.
And then John has been a member there before. And I was a member of there before. I don't know if you were, Gene. No, but now the mayor and Ryan Pervenenzi is members, which is good for managing numbers there.
One thing also, Ryan, to go a little bit further, it might have cost us $8 million to do it, but in the last few years with all this mercury and all this other stuff that's going on, we'd have to pick up all the cost of upgrading that plant to that. It's astronomical. And now with some of these waters being considered, abused from some of the sewage plants, more to that end of the range, they may have to replace their entire sewage plants again. So this is a pretty big deal. This water is a big deal, and it's due to the discharge from the taconite plants, in which they're naming most of the waterways up here now as being not contaminated, but they're under siege.
Everybody up here has updated their plants, or in the process of updating their plants, so.
And I know the mayor has talked about this before, but when they first talked about this, that plant was supposed to handle Hibbing, Chisholm, Buhl,
Yeah.
Great Scott, and it was like got into where they were gonna do it and Hibbing pulled out. So it was stuck on.
Is it sized to handle Hibbing on top of what it already does?
No, ours, Chisholm and Buhl would have been pumped to Hibbing,
Oh, I got you, okay.
and it would have been a lot cheaper if we would have went with Hibbing,
Yeah.
because of the numbers.
Yep.
But Hibbing,
Didn't want it.
And
The current plan is designed, I mean, it's not designed to handle Hibbing, but it is designed to handle, increased capacity
Okay.
for development, hopefully like along the 169 corridor in the South Industrial Park, things like that.
Nice.
And that's why we're doing our project now, is because we were having so much I&I that when it rained, they knew it. We were getting,
charged.
Yeah, we're getting billed. This project we have now is gonna reduce the customer's bills eventually, because all that stuff that leaks into
Yeah.
into the system.
Well, the old basements, our old Steve lines, they all ran into the sewer lines, and now they don't. But
Where do they go?
well, we put new pipe in,
Oh, okay.
so they're not, I&I is infiltration from outside,
An intrusion, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
From broken lines, everything
Yeah.
gets in there.
Yeah.
It gets processed and it's billed to us.
Yeah.
So this way now we're cleaning that up quite a bit, so.
you guys seen numbers on?
Well, they haven't sent us anything.
Yeah, this, next.
We get we meet every other month, and we get what the flowage is and everything like that and what it is, and you can tell when it's the rainy season and when stuff's melting. But now we're gonna notice, starting this year, it's some of these coming up now in the next few months, the numbers should drop dramatically.
In general, the less we send their way, the less all of us are gonna pay. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but it just did.
Well, we get billed for it. We get billed for all that excess water that we use.
Because the city goes on an average about 75,000 gallons a day, right, John?
Well said.
70, yeah.
And then, so when it does rain, they have increases of 150,000 gallons. So, that's
We'll give you one of those, it's just on a page report, then it goes back for a couple, it shows you for the past couple years. We'll get one of those out after the system starts working itself out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, for all of us, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get that in one of the packets.
Yeah.
Further comments?
But the district still wants that money that we're not using. But hopefully we have,
Well, that's a different topic.
well, I know, but I'm just bringing it out there. I don't understand that, but
Okay, Ryan, please take the roll.
Take a vote.
This is a resolution, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have a motion.
Do we have
Counselor Matthew.
I thought
Yes.
we did take a,
me and you,
Yep.
I made the motion, you supported it.
Counselor Marcus.
Yes.
Counselor Carter.
Yes.
Counselor Lehman.
Yes.
Mayor Claridge.
abstain. Motion carried, resolution carried. Okay. Aye. We got to certify to the county, the auditor, the Woodbridge Whiteside.
You got H to do
Got
that.
H to do.
Jefferson release, okay, I'm going one ahead, okay. When the city recorded the property on 204 Jefferson, it was with the stipulation that a residence be built. The requirement has been fulfilled. Since the property is now being sold to a new owner, this release is required. Is there a motion to approve the release for 204 Jefferson Street?
Motion.
Is there support?
support.
Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Okay, now we can go on certifying to the county auditor. Ryan, you just want to highlight that for us real quick?
Yeah, so each year with any assessments that the city has going on, we need to certify the unpaid amounts by the end of the year to St. Louis County. The list in front of you is updated. This is for the Woodbridge and Whiteside assessment. It will be the first year of the
So
assessment.
these are the amounts that haven't been paid by the residents.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the certificate to the county auditor?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Gene. I'll support that motion. Further comment or discussion? Anything else, Ryan, that you wish to add to that, to the public?
Just to clarify, on the list you see, Counselor Hart, those are the amounts that the residents would have to pay for 2022
On their taxes.
on their taxes, on their property taxes.
Are these the amortized over 10-year amounts, or are these the totals that each?
No, this is the over 10-year. This would just be for one single year.
Okay.
So we'll have another list.
You get another, same thing next year, if people pay or don't pay.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just on an annual basis, the city certifies these amounts to the county auditor.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye, those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now certification to the county auditor for the South Memorial improvements. And there's just a handful there, that's a small block. Is there a motion to approve the certificate for the county auditor for the South Memorial assessment?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by Gene. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Okay, Minnesota Power Contract. This is discussion only. I see you have approve or reject too then, right, Ryan?
This will need to be approved by the
Okay,
council.
so I would like you to lead us into that and then we'll open up for discussion.
Yep, so I've kind of gave some updates on the process. We are settled with Minnesota Power, the city of Buhl, and 12 other communities ranging from Brainerd to Ely on this power contract that will go through the end of 2029. Basically, the highlights of this contract and the main thing to tell the council and tell the residents is this will stabilize rates for the community for the next 8 years. It's not to say there won't be some adjustments for operation and maintenance. Those costs go up each year, but our rates are locked in with Minnesota Power. At the end of this 8-year contract, we're projecting a minimal savings, actually about a $40,000 savings over the life of an 8-year contract. When you really think of things, and especially with the power of the energy market, the instability and all that, being able to provide a service that guarantees that these rates are locked in and is not subject to. Minnesota Power can't petition the Minnesota Public Utilities. I'm sure you've seen that they asked for originally an 18.5% increase. It's down to 7 now. But in general, that doesn't apply to us. Buhl's ratepayers are locked in with this contract for the next 8 years. This is a very good thing for the city of Buhl and the ratepayers and also the other members. There's a few other protections for the city that, we fought hard to lock in. Residents may have noticed a fuel adjustment a couple times a year. Minnesota Power, they had some major shutdowns. Boswell number 3 went down. When that went down, it cost them to buy more power from another source. Well, they billed us for it. Residents saw maybe a $70 increase on their bill because of an event like that, or when their major DC renewable line went down from the Dakotas. Residents picked up the cost of that going down. So we actually built protections to, soften the blow on residents for unforeseen circumstances like those as well. I think more stable, in past, residents may have seen their fuel adjustment kind of go up and down. We worked out a formula where that's going to be more consistent, and that's just going to be an annual adjustment for us rather than a bi-monthly or a monthly adjustment. So there are a lot of good things and good protections for, obviously, the city and our ratepayers. You know, we're happy with how this ended up. I mean, we don't know, you know, there's a lot of, you know, especially if you look at the cost of going, you know, the big push on the federal and the state level is going to these renewable sources, which is, you know, it's not a bad thing, but to put all that infrastructure in place to get all these windmills, to invest in hydro. I mean, I know Minnesota Power gets a lot of hydro from up in Manitoba, but, you know, the give and take with the renewable energy is it costs more to produce. You know, and that's, you know, one thing, especially federally, that you see the push towards carbon-free emissions, which, don't get me wrong, is a good thing, but it costs a lot of money to do those types of things. You know, and being able to protect Buhl's ratepayers for the next, through 2029 with this contract, it's a very, like I said, it's a very good thing for, you know, the governing body to be able to approve this, you know, for the residents. I mean, like I said, you know, there's a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort into this contract, and just so the council's aware, and Attorney Carney, and we discussed, it was reviewed by a specialist attorney who handles power contracts that the group hired to review this on behalf of all our members and things like that. So it was, all the details and language issues have been worked out. You know, I'm happy to be able to bring this to the council for hopefully approval tonight.
And we belong to a group, it's called the Northeastern Minnesota Municipal Power Agency, or NEMMPA. And here's who's in it, just so that you know, there's 13 cities. Aiken, Biwabik, Buhl, Ely, Gilbert, Grand Rapids, Keewatin, Mountain Iron, Pierce, Proctor, Randall, Two Harbors, and Virginia. So there's a lot of range cities that you don't see on here, and this is a great protection. When I saw that headline the other day about 18% increase, and they whittle it down to 7, that's still going to be higher than what we're paying. And I'm going to talk about it in Mayor's comments a little bit, putting it more into context. But this was a good deal for our residents and for the city of Buhl.
Is there like a population you have to be a member of that?
No, you
know?
have to buy power from them.
No, yeah, it's more because the city maintains and just like the other cities the mayor just mentioned, we maintain our own power infrastructure to our capabilities. I mean, we have service contracts with Minnesota Power, like the outage tomorrow. Trent can't handle it all on its own, so we have an agreement with them that, you know, bigger projects.
Like Chisholm and Eveleth, maybe.
I was just curious about Kenny being right there and why.
Well, they don't have a distribution system. Minnesota Power.
Okay.
It's like Lake Country.
Gotcha.
They're not in this system because Minnesota Power owns their system.
Gotcha.
We own our own system, and we regulate the rates, and we have good rates actually across the range. We're doing good.
Yeah.
It's definitely an advantage for a city, I mean, especially when you look at the result of a contract like this, to own our own distribution center system, as Councilor Marcus pointed out. So I mean, you know, it's a big difference. I mean, it will save residents money compared to what some others are seeing. I mean, I know you look at CenterPoint and Excel, they're all going to the PUC asking for double-digit increases, and you know, it's going to be an interesting next couple years on, you know, on how this kind of plays out. It's getting more expensive. I mean, there's no denying. You're not going to see the cost of power go down. You know, and we were, you know, we're fortunate that we were able to start these discussion at a time where, you know, we could have went out on the open market. You know, we went out and looked at some numbers and leveraged that against Minnesota Power. I mean, we've been happy with the service Minnesota Power provides, but, you know, 13 members coming together to negotiate as one has a lot more influence than, just Virginia going and talking to Minnesota Power, just Buhl going and talking to Minnesota Power. It's a credit that kind of this group reformed. I know Greg French over in Virginia had a lot to do with it, Julie Kennedy over in Grand Rapids, that kind of spearheaded the effort of getting this group back together to, come as a united front to Minnesota Power. And like I said, Gary Cervenik, Jeff Anderson lobbied for this group as well down at the PUC legislature. They consulted with Dave Berg, who is familiar with the city and has a lot of expertise on what's going around not only in Minnesota but throughout the country in different contracts. So, I mean, the city pays $1,000 to be a member of this group, and we got our money's worth.
Well worth it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the Minnesota Power contract?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comment or discussion?
Ryan, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ryan, can this chart you have here on third page into the paperwork here?
Yeah.
Just real quick.
So
Am I looking at that funny, or is if you look at the current Minnesota Power market? I mean, if cents per kilowatt as time goes on, it looks like it's reduced in the current, and then in the offer it's going up, and then
Total savings though.
yeah, basically the number you want to look at is that 40,667.
600 and
no, yeah, agreed. But why am I looking at that and it looks like it's backwards completely?
Because
You know
how
what I
we
mean?
built, how we kind of came to the.
'Cause I mean, the offer obviously looks correct to me just by looking at it. It increases a little bit over time,
Yeah.
and that's. But the current one it's backwards, and I was just.
So the reason for this, and I'll do my best to explain it. When we were kind of finalizing these details, what the city could go out on the open market, or what this group could have went out on the open market, kind of dictated the major savings in this first how many years of this contract. So
Okay.
that's why you see the bigger numbers. And towards the end of it, that's when the rates start increasing to, basically based on projections.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's certain. So, and kind of another reason we set this up like that, with this contract, if this group wants to pull out, we need to give 3 years notice. So we look at, because we're starting this contract early, because we were locked in through 2023 or 4 or whatever. So.
Oh, okay.
So we're taking significant savings at the front end, and kind of leveraging that throughout the life of a contract, but it also is gonna give us an advantage, hopefully, 7 years down the line where, depending where things are, it's a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
So that's
well,
just.
it's an awesome time to be able to get that locked in right now.
And that's, it worked in the residents' favor kind of when this was all coming together. So like I said, it's anytime you can enter a contract at this length with a projected savings at the end, it's a win-win.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your work on that, Ryan.
Yeah.
Further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. We'll now move on to councilors' comments. Stuart, you're up.
I don't really have anything. The only thing we got, in the Rams board, we got a meeting coming up in first part of December. We're not having we're only gonna have one meeting between November and December, and that's gonna be in the first part of December, and then we're gonna have our annual meeting sometime.
At the end of the month, right? Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Brandon.
Sounds like the rec board is collaborating with Kinney and Great Scott, so be on the lookout for things happening in the winter season here. And then I wanted to just touch base for the public. Your garbage can is your responsibility. If it's spilled all over the place, pick it up. I've been seeing a lot of that in town, and with it being winter, the snowplows are gonna catch it, spread it all over the place, so please please be mindful of your garbage cans during this season. That's all I got.
John?
I'll just bring it up again. Somebody's interested in buying the banner for the ladies that did all the work. You can, donate some money towards that. And the other coming event is Senior Center has a turkey feed Thursday at 5 o'clock. So if anybody's interested, it's $8. So.
Who do they contact? Do you know offhand?
Oh, there's a phone number on the
Call the
billboards.
senior center.
Okay, well, that's what I figured, but it's,
Or you can call me.
well, look out.
Yeah. But that's okay, call the center.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Gene?
I think the guys, I think Casper caught up fairly decent with, a little cooler weather coming in. They're still going at it a little bit, but
Still call Ryan if there's still an issue.
Yeah.
well, like I said, the only problem I had was this alley right here has to be brought up. Hopefully, make sure John checks into that.
Gene?
The only thing I have to say is I'd like to compliment the city crew for how quick they got out on the streets and did sanding. We had the intersections, the stop sign areas done pretty quick, and it was nice for everybody.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. Mayor's comments, I'm going to talk a little bit about this Minnesota Power Agreement we have. This week's mayor's comments will expand on the recently passed agreement between the City of Buhl and Minnesota Power. The City of Buhl is a member of the Northeast Minnesota Municipal Power Agency, NEMPO, along with 13 other cities ranging from Ely to Brainerd. Since early 2020, representatives from these cities have been negotiating with Minnesota Power as one unit on a contract to purchase our wholesale power. Many of you may have heard that recently Minnesota Power started the process to increase consumer rates by petitioning the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. Minnesota Power updated their request. Their updated request is for 7%. The good news is that this increase will not affect the ratepayers of Buhl. In fact, the recently approved contract with Minnesota Power will keep everyone's electric utility rates, which is usually the most expensive portion of a utility bill, stabilized for the next 8 years. Minor adjustments may be needed in a few years from now to account for the operations and maintenance, but nowhere near the 7% increase that retail consumers will see from Minnesota Power or the 21% increase that Xcel Energy is petitioning the Commission for. Also keep in mind, Buhl's electric utility rates are already among the lowest, and this new contract projects the rate payers of Buhl through 2029, so it looks pretty solid. For example, in a simplified bill, this would be the approximate difference considering electric usage of 1,250 kilowatt hours. Buhl, if you had 1,250 kilowatt hours at 88 cents a kilowatt hour, it would cost you $110 plus a $5 service fee for a total of $115. If you're a resident in Chisholm, the same example would be 1,250 kilowatts is times 0.1351. It would come to $164.39 plus an $8 service fee for a total of $170.26. And if you add the anticipated 7% increase, or roughly $184 a month for electric for Chisholm. So you can see we have one of the lower rates across the range. We just use Chisholm as an example for this. As you can see, Buhl's electric rates are already significantly lower, and this contract provides a significant amount of savings for the next 8 years. Buhl's utility rates as whole continue to be among the least expensive on the Iron Range, even with the much-needed and significant investments in our infrastructure. This contract is a major accomplishment for the city and something our city officials and staff, our lobbyists Gary Sokranik and Jeff Anderson, and especially Ryan Pervenanzi and some of our neighbors who put a tremendous amount of time and energy into this contract. And also we got a lot of input from John Marcus before, who is very well versed in the power, and especially in Buhl. And with that, that's all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Brandon. Is there support? Support by Stewart. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Meeting adjourned at 7:40.